Yeah, the off-grid days are over. So let me talk a little bit about the impressions I had and the experiences I made during the last few days when I was watching the construction of the new high voltage in front of our resort. So this is kind of the most modern way of how they are making now the high voltage here in the rural area. We see the old now and the new poles are added at the moment. So the new poles are probably around 3 meters higher than the old ones, and it's all a little bit more compact because the cables, as you can see, are in two levels and not on one straight beam there on the top of the pole. So this also have showed me a lot about how the grid here in Thailand is constructed and built up, which I did not exactly know until now. And here we see this is on next day when they were working on the low voltage side of the distribution. So every high voltage on the down here, a bit lower, is the low voltage, which comes from the local transformer. And yeah, this is showing us that the TNC here in Thailand is actually also a TNC PME, MEN, MGN, however it is called in your country. So it's a multi-point earthing on the way to the consumer. The neutral line will be bonded again and again with ground. So here we can see these are the 4 low voltage wires. On the top this is neutral, and that steel wire from the 2 rods which have been driven is connected here to the upper, to the neutral wire. And so yeah, then he's adding here something funny looking like the mushrooms here. This is a surge protection device, so the low voltage side is actually surge protected. So every phase wire is connected here, and you can see it's connected to neutral via these devices there. So this one now on the 3rd day, the weather was not as good, but we still had enough power from our solar systems. This is at the morning, the utility company is coming and securing the high voltage before the lineman can work on it. So he's adding here some wires, and this is how it looks like. So all the high voltages are shorted and then grounded via a ground rod here. Yeah, so in the meantime, here the crew was waiting until they got the all clear to start the work. And here they got it, and so they started to take down the old wires. They were working on about 10 poles at a time. So on each of the poles there was at least one person, depending what they had to do on each of the poles, and was then waiting and working on that pole as long as it took to then finish the new wire on the top. Here the new cable is lifted up to the new pole. There's a difference there between the old one and the new one, which you will see in a moment. So this is now much safer than it was before, and here already the old poles are then pulled out of the ground and removed. So typically they are just driven into soil, so it's quite easy to take them out. But there you will see there was a complication in front of our resort with one of the old poles. This is now in front of our resort. There in the back, one pole is pulled out and the other one will get some new accessory to connect then the transformer to our to the cables then. So these are the old high voltage cables. It's bare aluminium. So of course there could have been a lightning strike also directly into the cable. These are the new ones, so they are all covered with PVC, and the core probably is same, diameters 185 square millimeters, but much safer because it's an insulated cable. So here they are working now on our transformer. So one pole gets the final accessories, the other one will come down, the cables move from one to the other. And you see, funny, like it's very unconventional way how they're working here. The guy is sitting on the arm of the crane and just doing his job. And that is the pole in question. We just told you before, it's a little bit more complicated. The crane is pulling violently left, right, up, and what is going on? The new walkway was already finished, and they have just poured this pole into concrete, and so one has to give way, and of course it's the walkway which will not survive this action here. The pole is coming out slowly, and the walkway needs a little bit rework, I guess. That's the walkway after. But this is the internet guy. He was really poor because he was just patching up broken fiberglass cables after the lineman, because of course all these communication cables are located under the power cables and they just snap when you pull out poles, etc. So here the new high voltage cable is pulled straight there on the poles, and you can see how the men on each of the poles, they are waiting until the cable is in the correct place, and then they will attach the cable to the insulator when everything is fine. The normal truck will just do the job. So here you see everything is put in place, and the guy is just using a wire to attach the cable to the insulator. And this is already the final result. Everything is done. So on the top you have high voltage, then you have the low voltage, and the rest, everything what is hanging here on the down, is what you will typically hear from other people who will tell you in Asia all this cabling is so chaotic and dangerous. You have low hanging cables which will kill you because you can electrocute yourself there. That's of course not, because all these low hanging cables and this stuff is just communication, telephone cables like here, or then the next one a little bit bigger, that's the internet service provider main cable, probably fiber, and here as well, and this one is a fiberglass cable from a final consumer already. That's how they do it here. In your country will be probably completely different, but it's funny to have the chance and watch. Okay, so I hope you found this also interesting. I did. And please like the video, comment on the down, what do you think? Could you climb up a pole like that, like to do it here? Subscribe to the channel, and I see you
next time.